You're listening to the Wits Mac Show. I'm Vidhi Makwana and I'll teach you the no fluff way to get your service based business fully sold out without needing thousands of Instagram followers, pay for ads, or any coaching or niche certificates. Wondering how that's possible? I've done it and multiple of my clients have too, and now I'm here to show you how you can too. Listen on to find out how. Welcome back to another episode of the Wits Mac Show, and today we are going to discuss what are you doing in your content copy that is literally currently repelling high ticket clients from joining your high ticket offers. Now, the reason why I thought of creating this is because lately I've been talking a lot about the problems with the content that you are creating, like what content types or content ideas that are missing from the content that you are posting on Instagram. But we haven't talked about what are you saying within those content ideas that is literally repelling the high ticket clients from signing up with you. So that is what I want to discuss today, and there are a lot of things that we can talk about depending on, like, I can give you a lot of examples from my clients as well, because there are a lot of mistakes and I can talk about a lot of those as well. But most of these mistakes are things that are very specific to a niche or very specific to the actual dream client that you want to work with, which is why I'm only going to talk about the common themes that I see that you can pick up right now, and you can literally see that this is what mistake I'm making. Okay. So what I see in our industry is that most people, they are creating content consistently, right? I know the person who I'm speaking to right now, you too are creating great content, and you think that your content is great, and yet you're not signing high ticket clients, and yet you're getting inquiries, but probably they are not signing up with you. It's not because you are not creating great content. It's because you don't know what you're saying in your content copy that is repelling these people. So I wouldn't say that you are creating great content if your content is not turning into cash. I work with clients day in and day out on their content, and I know a dozen ways in which they are attracting low level clients. Like, literally, even after this recording, I'm going to go back to speaking to one of my clients where we are going to speak about things like what content ideas do they need, what content ideas do we need to shift, or what content ideas we need to discard. Literally, we discard a lot of content ideas as well, a lot of the good content ideas as well, because it might not be speaking to their specific ideal dream fit client. And that is what we want to learn as well, right? So most of the mistakes that I can talk about are really specific to a particular niche, and which is why I cannot speak about all of the niches. I don't know who is out there listening to this podcast right now. And that is why I'm going to speak to the common themes that I see that consistently attracts low level clients. So let's talk about the first one. Speaking to people who need convincing. This is the biggest mistake I see a lot of people making, like, literally. And let me show you some examples. One is, I know investment is scary. If you're saying something like this in your content, you're speaking to people who need convincing. Or maybe you're creating posts like X reasons why you need an SMM or a coach or a copywriter. Now, if you look at these two examples, it's literally speaking to the people who have objections. Guess who is this speaking to? This is speaking to someone who has objections, who is not yet convinced that they need to join an offer, that they need an SMM, or that they need to invest. You are wasting a lot of your time in speaking to these people rather than speaking to people who are ready to buy. And I promise you, those people do exist in your audience. Your content is just not speaking to them. So instead of creating these type of contents that say, I know investment is scary, or like 5 reasons why you need a coach or why you need a copywriter, instead of doing that, you need to speak to people who are already ready to buy. Now, I know that a lot of you would be like rolling your eyes because you don't know how to do that. Like when I say that you need to speak to the people who are ready to buy, you don't know what to do, right? You don't know how. And let me show you. Okay. So for the same two examples, I'm going to say, when you say, I know investment is scary, instead of saying that, you want to say something like, I know making an investment is not a new thing to you. Do you see how it speaks to a completely different person? Let's look at the other example that we talked about. 5 reasons why you need an SMM, for example. Instead of saying that, you say something like, you're ready to hire an SMM. Let me show you. Here's what it looks like to work with me. Now, this again is speaking to a completely different person, a person who is ready to hire an SMM instead of speaking to someone who needs convincing, because someone who needs convincing is going to have a longer buyer's journey working with you. And you don't want that, right? So that is the thing. Second mistake that I see a lot of people make in their copy that repels high ticket buyers is posting any and every tip related to your niche. I see this a lot. Recently, I did a WhatsApp broadcast, and this is where people were sharing their questions with me, and I was answering their questions. And I went through all of their content, and most of them didn't have a strategy behind it. But instead of that, even with that, without having a strategy, what I was seeing is that they were creating just anything and everything, which felt like it's such a scattered thing that you are posting, right? So high level clients will not turn their attention towards your content unless it speaks exactly to them, and unless it has a consistent messaging throughout all of your content. This second part is so much important. Unless it has a consistent messaging throughout all of your content. When there's no consistent messaging, your content becomes scattered and random, which means that people would love the content. People would like the content. People would save the content as well, but not move forward to buy. I see a lot of people really celebrating when they have a lot of saves, really celebrating when they've got a lot of comments and a lot of likes. But are you getting inquiries? Are you getting sales out of that? If you're not, there's a problem with your content. Okay, so this is what you not need to do. You need to make sure that all of your content is speaking about one consistent message that is your main messaging of your offer. When this happens, people would be like so much more activated to join your offer because that is what's being inhaled into their systems to being like, this is what brings results, right? It has to be so much more repeated, like you have to repeat it so many times that people are like, yes, but in different ways, not being like you're saying the same thing again and again, but in different ways. So a few examples that I can give you is like, think of what are the symptoms, the micro symptoms and the micro problems or the micro goals that your ideal fit dream client has in their daily life. The actual word is daily life, right? So imagine that you're watching this person, you're recording this person on a video while they're living their life, right? And how does that look like? What are the actual beliefs that they have? What are they thinking? What are they doing? What are the problems that they are actively looking out the solutions for? What are the goals, the micro goals that they have that they are working towards? And what actions that they are taking towards those micro goals? But now that you have these actions in front of you, are these actions right? Are these actions the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do? If it's the right thing to do, then why still they aren't getting results? If they still aren't getting results, here is your choice. Here is your point to figure out where is the gap, and this gap is your, it becomes your problem awareness content. Like, this gap is what you want to build awareness around, of being like, this is why you're not seeing results, right? So this is the whole thing, right? This is the kind of content you need to create. So think of all of the different micro problems and micro goals that they have in their life, and build awareness around those, build the gap around those, like there's why they aren't able to go from those micro problems to those micro goals. What is the gap? Show them, like, build awareness around that, and that becomes your talking points. And these talking points, all of these talking points, when all of them come back to your offer messaging, that is what you want to share. This becomes your consistent messaging. This makes sure that you have all of your content around one consistent messaging, instead of being like, I'm just creating scattered and random content. Okay, third mistake that I want to talk about is selling the logistics. Again, we are talking about the copy, right? So a lot of people talk about things like how many hours of content is in there, and exactly what you get in each and every module, and how many modules are there, how many calls do you get. All of this is logistics. And first of all, let me tell you, when you sell just through this is only speaking to one buyer's type, which is the logistics buyer. But there are other two as well, which is the emotional buyer and FOMO buyers types. So, how are you speaking to these other two buyer types as well when you're constantly focusing on only one of these types? Secondly, this doesn't, logistics, when you sell the logistics, it literally doesn't activate someone to jump inside your offer. It never activates someone to jump inside your offer, because logistics does not differentiate your offer from other similar offers out there. So, what does activate them is the actual transformation when you frame it exactly as they want. And it's so easy to say, but I know that a lot of people know that they need to sell the want and give them the need inside the program. But most of the people don't even know what their ideal clients want. This is where the actual work comes in. Not just the market research, but also like knowing exactly who it is. Let me tell you an example. Just before coming in to record this podcast episode, I was reviewing one of my clients' stories, and she was speaking to two different clients at a time while she was selling that one offer. And I was like, this story is speaking to this person, and this story is speaking to this person. Like, both of them were her, um, both of them were coaches that she wants to bring in, but both of those coaches were at different levels. Now, we that means that one coach cannot be at two levels, right? Obviously. So which means that you are speaking to two different people at a time, and this would not resonate with any one of those. So that is what, when I reviewed the stories, I was like, this is not working, and this is what you need to change. Bringing my eyes to your business is going to make so much more difference, like saying that from my own mouth. Okay, but that is the actual thing. So you need to, the main work comes in who exactly is your ideal client and what stage they are in, so that you know that you're only speaking to this person, instead of being like, I know I'm creating content, and I know that I'm creating great content and posting great content with great strategy, and that I am selling every single day, but it's still like I'm doing everything that I need to do, but it's still not working. The reason is because you're not clear on who your ideal fit client is and what stage they are in. If you are clear about that, even with that, you're not sure what words to use, what exactly do they want in each stage, that they are in, what exactly do they want, that you need to focus on, so that that becomes like, this is why you need to join my offer, right? So what does activate high end clients is the actual transformation when you frame it exactly as they want, when you can show them with conviction that this is the dream life that they are going to live after coming inside your program. and that it matches what they want again and are actively looking out the solution for. So if they are not actively looking out the solution for this thing, you're again speaking to the wrong person. If they don't even know that there's a problem, you don't want to speak to this person because the buyer's journey is going to be a lot longer. When you need to convince someone, again going back to the first point, first mistake that we talked about, if you need to convince this person to know that they have a problem, or for anything else that they need convincing, that is not the right energy, and this person is going to have a longer buyer's journey, and you don't even want to have this person as your dream client, because it's going to have it's going to make it so much more harder for yourself to sell to this person or to make sales quickly from this person. Okay, so this is the work that we do inside the Copy to Cash Academy. The first thing that we do inside Copy to Cash Academy is figuring out exactly who this person is that you want to work with, what stage is this person in, and we map out exactly what they are going through in this stage so that we know, and exactly what they want in this stage so that we know how do we frame the words that we want to say so that it's speaking to the right person and they are ready to buy, ready to join. And what this allows us is it helps you see that you're not speaking to the person below that stage that your dream client is in, because that is going to be a low level client for you. This one messaging shift makes all the difference to attracting not only higher level clients, high end clients, but also starting to bring those inquiries and sales you've been wanting. That is the work that we do inside the C2C, but there's also a lot more that we do after that that fills in your DMs and your bank account with high ticket sales. Copy to Cash Academy is open for a few days before it closes. I know that you are ready to master effortless sales where you don't need sales calls, you don't need to create sales pages, where you've left the dreaded lead generation behind, and you want your content to do all of that job for you so that it saves you a lot of time and brings you that space where you can actually live your life instead of being like, where's my next client coming from? Then why aren't you inside Copy to Cash Academy? So, Copy to Cash Academy, I've given all of the details of the Copy to Cash Academy, and I'm going to share the link inside the show notes of this about how to join Copy to Cash Academy, where to join, etc. And if you have any questions about this, you can always DM me on Instagram at the Witsmack at the rate Witsmack Social, and that is where you can find me. Okay, so that is it, and I'll see you next time.